What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to talk about another player that has impressed me in this stretch of games for the Chicago Bulls. Someone that I think we can learn a lot more from, and it's not just him specifically. Obviously, there are other teams that do this around the league as well, but him specifically being one of the leading factors in this situation is why I want to talk about this player. His name is Alex Caruso, and we're going to keep talking about him, praising his name in this video. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Alex Caruso and his status so far with the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, you could just tell by every single game that Alex Caruso plays, especially at the United Center. He's clearly a favorite around the league, and he's definitely a fan favorite within Los Angeles and the Chicago Bulls. Looking at his season averages for the Chicago Bulls so far, he's 21 games played for the Chicago Bulls. He's averaged 8.7 points per game, 3.8 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game, shooting 44% from the field and 33% from the three-point line. Now, a little bit of aggression in the three-point shooting, but of course he did have a wrist injury this season, so obviously that does play a factor. But outside of that, almost everything has been boosted up from his previous campaign with the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's mainly because he does have a lot more responsibility on the Chicago Bulls. He's our leading line in terms of the bench. He's a leader in terms of the defensive end for the Chicago Bulls, and he's someone that we can truly rely on to close out games for the Bulls. But obviously, we talked about his struggles, especially in the game reactions, especially when it comes to shooting, and that was a big issue for the Chicago Bulls because he was in the starting lineup and he was taking a good amount of shots, but he just wasn't making them, and those percentages in terms of the field goal was slowly declining for the team. However, in recent games, he's had an unbelievable stretch of shooting, almost not missing to a point, and that's fantastic to see. But for me, he is a very good player to have in a number of ways, and it's not just the scoring that I'm talking about. First things first, his playmaking has taken a massive jump from his Los Angeles Lakers days to his Chicago Bulls days, and I think the stats speak for itself. Obviously, when it comes to assists in terms of his NBA season, he's averaged 4.2 assists for the Chicago Bulls this year, and his highest outside of that, 3.1 for the Los Angeles Lakers, and that was in the 2018-2019 season. That's a phenomenal stretch of just improved playmaking for the team, and obviously everybody knew from the comment section, everybody's been saying that he's a good playmaker, and of course just by me watching him, I can now see that he's a good playmaker, and that's a good avenue to have someone else that can share the ball like that on the team. When we do have Lonzo Ball on the team, it's good to have somebody else that can do maybe not what Lonzo does, but definitely someone that can facilitate the ball at a decent level for the Chicago Bulls. The steals factor is big for the Chicago Bulls as well. Currently one of the league leaders in steals in the NBA with 2.2 steals per game. Obviously, that's his highest in his career as well. Almost everything outside of points is his highest in terms of the Chicago Bulls. His points is 8.7. He did have a stretch again in the 2018-2019 season where he averaged 9. So almost everything is a step up in the right direction for Alex Caruso on this team, with more responsibility and just more ways he can make an impact. But that's not just it, ladies and gentlemen. The steals is great, but that's not it. Obviously, being a leader defensively is great, and a leader in general is great, but that's not also a key thing that I want to talk about today as well. The assist is great. All of these things are fantastic for the Chicago Bulls, but there's one specific thing that I think puts Alex Caruso not only above some of the starters on this team, but also most of the bench on this team, and that is his movement, his IQ. Alex Caruso is one of the smartest players on this team. And the reason why is that he plays the game the right way, and he gives energy in every single way possible when he's on the floor. And that reflects not only in his defensive numbers, not only in his numbers in terms of scoring, but his numbers and his movement in terms of off-ball movement, in terms of creating plays for someone else while not necessarily having the ball. For example, we saw against the Miami Heat, and again, I've said this numerous times, but this is the main video that I'm going to talk about this now. We saw against numerous teams, we saw it numerous times, and especially the game against the Miami Heat, where we saw a lot of players get open cuts to the basket when it comes to off-ball screens to an open cut, when it came to passing from the post, when it came to just a simple floppy play to get a three-pointer, whatever the case may be. Off-ball movement was the key for Miami in their win against the Chicago Bulls, and no matter how poorly we played that game, we still ended up battling and only losing by 3 points. And that was a big step for us, in my opinion. And I said in that game, as good as Miami was, we can definitely learn from what they do. And the very next game, we saw incredible cuts from the Chicago Bulls, but we also saw that from Alex Caruso against the Miami Heat. He was one of the only players to really move without the ball to try and collapse the zone, trying to collapse the defense, while also just getting some easy shots in the paint, which should be a necessity for a team like the Chicago Bulls that doesn't shoot the perimeter shot very well. Easy points in the paint is something that's going to be desperately needed for the Bulls, and I think Alex Caruso is one of those players, if not the only player, that other players have to look at and learn from when it comes to his IQ, when it comes to the game and his ball movement, and also his off-ball movement, as well as just his energy in the game, how much he can bring to a game without necessarily just being the best scorer on the team. It's as simple as that. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, they're going to get their shots. They're going to get their shots up. Lonzo Ball is going to be facilitating all night long. But Alex Caruso brings that off-ball movement that I don't think anybody on this team, very few people on this team do bring. And that's why I'm praising his name today, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I think his recent stretch of games has been by far his best. And again, the 20 points per game that he was scoring, 75% from the field that he had in the last game, or in 2 games ago as well, all of that is fine. The posterizer on PJ Tucker, that's fine. That's highlight plays. That's beautiful basketball. And obviously, we love Alex Caruso for that, and he brings that every single night. But the small things that people don't talk about with Alex Caruso is the thing that stands out to me, because we do see it so often when it comes to zones that we just don't move. No one ends up moving, trying to create something. They all stand still, rely on DeMar DeRozan to try and either take a tough shot or make a play out of nothing. And in the end, DeMar DeRozan gets that turnover. DeMar DeRozan misses a shot and the zone ends up working. It benefits other teams when we play in a zone. But Alex Caruso, when he's on the court, Lonzo Ball, again, another player, when he's on the court, you can't just stand still with those types of players on your team, because you know someone's going to be moving. Alex Caruso will always be moving. You know Lonzo Ball can create a pass from anything, and Lonzo Ball is capable of doing that. So those two are really strong players. And of course, Lonzo Ball we'll talk about another time, but this is Alex Caruso's video, and he's a fantastic player to have on your team when things are becoming stagnant, when we need some instant offense, or when we need someone that is just going to move. He is someone that can do that. We all have great passers on the team. Almost anybody on this team I can consider a great passer, but we need someone to be able to cut for those passes to be made. And that's my praise for Alex Caruso. And again, the points, the assists, the steals, the defensive leadership, all of that's fantastic, and all of that is what I expect. I expect all of those things from Alex Caruso, but again, he's someone that definitely other players need to look at. From Zach LaVine, the best of the best on the team, to players that don't get enough minutes on the team, like maybe a Troy Brown or Alize Johnson, whoever it is. We all need to look at Alex Caruso and learn from how he makes certain cuts, how he ends up moving without the ball, and just how easy some of his shots can be because of that. We need to learn a lot from Alex Caruso, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm talking about those Bulls players. And I'm sure every other NBA team will have some of those things scouted. And again, we did that from the Miami Heat. We scouted the Miami Heat and we made some changes. And I think those changes hopefully can be consistent going forward. And with Alex Caruso on the team, I truly believe they will be. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. With that being said, have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Congratulations on another successful game for Alex Caruso. And I hope he can continue to do it. And we're going to need him against the New York Knicks. Take care. And peace.